Erling Haaland is a cheat player and he's scored 2 hat-tricks in 2 games. This is the guy here. This is the guy who's probably going to beat Alan Shearer's Premier League record if he stays at Manchester City for long enough. How is Erling Haaland scoring so many goals? What's making him so good against Premier League defences? Some people thought he would be that good, but he is. The real secret to Haaland scoring all these goals, this is the secret, is that he's always never playing outside of this 6-yard kind of line. So he's always within the width of here. You very rarely see him out here, out here. What we saw in Nottingham Forest is that he was mostly positioned in these central areas by the penalty spot to be able to score goals. But what he also did was drop back to help win the ball in midfield round about the centre circle, always again within the width of the 6-yard box. It's the kind of thing that great strikers do. Players like Robert Lewandowski or I guess Alan Shearer back in the day as well. Another thing he does is that when he's playing against a team like Nottingham Forest, as he did to score his 2nd hat-trick in 2 games, he doesn't position himself level with the last man or one of the centre-backs. He stands just slightly off them. He just gives them a couple of yards, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 yards, so he's a bit further deep here. So when the time comes that a teammate can thread a through ball in, say Silva wants to play a ball here, he can get up to full speed and catch the defender unawares. Because this is the other thing that Erling Haaland does, and that is dictating play with his movement. So while defenders around him often react to things and they're caught off guard and they're maybe flat-footed for certain scenarios that Haaland's involved in, he is constantly ahead of the game. It's like he reads it, he's in the matrix, he knows what's going on because he stays calm in every situation. Now, the data shows us that Erling Haaland, very much like we're just saying, plays in this very central area. Sometimes he goes to the left, receive it. This is where he receives the ball in the Premier League this season. So it's often receiving it in these areas here. Most of all, it's here, very close. Look at the colour of red here. It's the most red you can get next to the goal. That's very hard to do. He's doing it often. And when he shoots, he does it from very central areas. High quality shots is what he's taking, high XG levels of shots. He is scoring goals from positions where you should be taking shots. He's not taking hopeful, wasteful ones. He's very clinical and efficient in where he's taking them. It's a theme of his career so far. This is him last season in the Bundesliga. So this is him in the Premier League this season so far. This is him in the Bundesliga last year. He knows what he's doing. The things we're just talking about, I can show you. In fact, the best example of his movement and what makes him so good is from one of the goals he scored against Crystal Palace in his first Man City hat-trick. Here he is in the middle. So we can see that Man City are playing with 2 wide players here to stretch the defence. Look at the space it creates between players. That's why they have the wide wingers supporting midfielders here. And when they go forward, Haaland stays in the middle. It helps push the defenders back to create more space between the lines of defence and midfield for these guys to have fun in. So he's helping the team by not even being directly involved, first of all. That's one good thing. Now, he's always in this centre bit here, but what he does is constantly move to anticipate what's going to happen next. So as the ball goes out wide in the situation to De Bruyne on this side here, he thinks the most natural thing for De Bruyne to do is to hook a ball to this area here. This is the very, very dangerous high XG value bit here, when he's going to there. But he realises, because De Bruyne stops, that that's not the move. So instead, he starts to make a checked run towards the front post, because that might drag, in my opinion, these 2 central defenders with him, which will free up space behind for someone else to get on the end of a ball that hooks into this area. That's why I think he's done it. It's really clever. But he realises that the ball is being lifted. It's going to go beyond where he is at the front post, so there's no need. So instead, what he does is he stands completely still. Now this might sound a bit basic, but by standing completely still and having everyone else panic around you, Haaland is then able to just see what's going on, position himself where the gaps are and move into them. Because as this ball goes over to the far post, Haaland is standing completely still, everyone else is reacting, they're crowding around, they're panicking, that's a natural thing to do. And then eventually what happens is that Haaland realises the ball's going to be here, and he comes to life to be able to score a goal inside this very central area. These are all very simple things done to the absolute top level. This is how you do it. Another goal he scored in this game, again, positioned right in the middle of the pitch, because while everyone else is panicking and going towards the ball, he moves away from everyone. It's like a counter movement. Everyone else is going towards it, he moves away to always be in space. But he's not moving to space where he's unuseful. He's moving somewhere where he's directly in line with the goal, and no one seems to pick him up. Like, he's right there in plain sight, but everyone misses him. Here he is, tapping in the back post. Everyone's looking, going, how does no one know he's there? He's got this weird ability to do it. The other thing he's got is pace and power. This is the thing he does really well. Now, Man City early in pre-season were not releasing the ball early enough to get the ball into Haaland in these situations where you see he's running as the first man here, which helps create space between the defensive line and the midfield. That's what's going on there. But he wants to get the ball in early. in this occasion, Gundogan plays it. He plays the ball in, Haaland's here. Nothing to do with movement or tactics here. This is just sheer quality and power from a player who is then strong enough to receive the ball, block off the defender on him, so he can then take a touch inside the box to be able to finish. It's ridiculous, it's so good. Here he is again, in the middle of the pitch, a defender next to him. He's massive, look at the size of him. No one wants to deal with him, so you constantly find any situations in the box that Haaland is there, a defender's on him, he moves a bit, and someone kind of hands him off, because not everyone wants to be the one who's in charge of dealing with this guy, because he's going to beat them in the air every single time. And again, the ball goes over to the back post. Haaland sort of stands around while everyone panics and faces the ball. While everyone else is standing still, flat-footed, he is alive and predicting everything. He's anticipating and going before it happens. Defenders around him are reacting. That's the difference between going and being the leader in this situation and being the person who reacts. He is leading everything, finishes there. Now, another one. Here he is, almost on the goal line. He's always in line with the goal, always there to finish the chances. That's what he does. And here, another example of his pace. He's got everything, absolutely everything here. And again, it's an example of Man City making use of this run. So he starts, like we said before, he starts his run from a slightly deeper position when he scores these goals. If he stands here in a situation like this, and Bernardo Silva, say he wants to thread a through pass, right? You can see the ball is on, right? You can see this ball is here. That's what you want to do. If he's here, the defender knows he's there. You can try and block him, stop the run. It's harder for Haaland to get past him. But if Haaland starts here, no one can stop him. So he can make a run, be at full speed by the time the ball is played. So by the time the ball's about here, he's at full speed. The defenders are completely goosed. Haaland's in. And then he either is clever enough to shield them and block them to take a shot, or he just positions himself to then be able to finish perfectly. And he just does it all the time. He's making the right runs all the time. Doesn't always get the ball, but he's always making the run. So when he doesn't score, he's helping the team. But here he scores against West Ham. De Bruyne runs through here. Here's the example we're talking about. This defender is slightly out of position because he stepped forward to deal with him, but he's going to get caught. And he does. The ball goes in behind. Haaland runs in behind, positions himself with his left foot to finish past the keeper. He is ridiculous. He's doing everything that he's supposed to do right. He's winning the ball back to help out the team defensively, but more importantly, over everything else, he is always, always, always here to be able to score the goals. Sounds simple. Why can so few players do it? He's really good. And that's Erling Haaland doing very well for Man City just now. 2 hat-tricks in 2 games. To find out how he's taking on for the rest of the season, why don't you subscribe? You should do that. It would be very nice. We would like if you did that. Goodbye now.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is where the Ralph Rangnick to Manchester United story broke, where a team of journalists have provided unrivaled coverage of Newcastle United's new ownership, and where dedicated writers cover every Premier League team no matter their place in the table. And you can try it free now for 30 days.